everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.
Oh my God, it's people helping people!
That intro gets me every time. Big old smile on my face. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of People Helping People. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for being a part of this journey. This has been really, really fun. And you know what? I set out to do 30 days of 30 live shows. And here we are on day 22. It's been something special. And I'm realizing too that this is a full-time gig. You know, this is it takes a lot, and I'm really enjoying the process and learning how to boil things down to become more efficient and not trying to spend all day worrying about the show, you know, and taking segments of time to dedicate towards, you know, editing the clips and finding the guests and communicating with people, reaching out back and forth, and not getting too sucked into the social media side of things, you know. And yeah, it's just been something special. You know, we've had everybody from business owners to artists, musicians. We've had so many amazing guests on the show, and I've learned so much in the short amount of time. So this hasn't been a challenge, I guess. This has been a journey, you know, and I've picked up so many new things along the way. And so I am super grateful to be here. I'm super grateful that everybody that's checked in with us is leaving us comments, is involved in the conversations. I'm just grateful. I sit here grateful today. So, you know, I had a beautiful day, woke up, we went to the gym, got some things done around the house. We're checking things off our checklist. Shout out to Kayla Coffee, my girlfriend. She's the one that's doing the checklist, and I sit there and help check them off, you know, so it's a good dynamic. But, you know, before we get into today's show, we have an incredible guest with us. And I'm really excited about today's show. We're going to have an awesome conversation, and you guys are going to be getting some nuggets. You guys are going to be getting some wisdom and something to take home with you. And, you know, if you got your notepad out, this would be the episode to take down some notes. So before we get into that, though, let's dive into our sponsors, because we have people helping people. We have people supporting the show, and we are proud representatives of these companies here. Sorry, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear my phone going off. I have not figured out, even when it's muted, how to make it not come through the headphones and soundboard. So we're still working out the kinks. But yeah, we are a proud representative of these companies, and let's go ahead and give them some love. So this episode is sponsored by T-Town Boxing. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I just lost my spot. Let me put on my glasses real quick so I don't just butcher our advertisers here. You know, I think it's a great thing that I'm getting more and more blind as I get older, because I put these things on and look in the mirror, and it's an issue. So it's a beautiful thing. That's why that happens, you know. So the vanity just kind of goes away naturally. It's a it's a beautiful thing. But let's see here. This episode of People Helping People Live is sponsored by T-Town Boxing, Tucson's home for boxing, kickboxing, and recovery classes for all ages. T-Town Boxing isn't just a gym; it's a community where you can build confidence, discipline, and lifelong skills, whether you're stepping into the ring for the first time or sharpening your technique. From kids to adults, beginners to experienced fighters, T-Town Boxing offers a space to grow, train, and challenge yourself. So if you're ready to push your limits and join an amazing community, reach out to T-Town Boxing on Instagram at instagram.com/T-Town Boxing, or their website, boxingtucson.com. Again, Instagram.com/T-Town-Boxing or their website, boxingtucson.com. We love you, T-Town. Jake Wilson over there, shout out. We appreciate you, man, for being a supporter of our show. We are a proud representative of you guys and everything that you guys embody and embrace and who you are as an individual and what you guys stand for. So really appreciate you. We have another sponsor here, and I say this on every episode because I mean it. They are out here doing God's work. This is carsfortucson.org. One car repair can create a powerful ripple effect. For a low-income family struggling with housing, a reliable vehicle means they can hold on to their job, access childcare, and avoid spiraling into homelessness. Cars for Tucson understands this. They exist to provide affordable, sometimes free, critical car repairs to ensure these families stay connected to their livelihoods and their homes. Their goal is to give away vehicles as well. So if you want to be a part of the positive ripple effect, your donation helps prevent homelessness one car or one repair at a time. Visit carsfortucson.org. Again, that's carsfortucson.org. Thank you, carsfortucson.org. We love you guys, and we appreciate you being a part of the movement here at People Helping People. But before we get into anything else, I would love to bring in our guest. We have an incredible guest on today. And sorry, guys, I'm just trying to close some things out here. We have an incredible guest on today. He has been a recurring guest on the show, and for obvious reasons. I have a lot of you guys reaching out to me personally, and just, I had a couple people saying that they wish that they could adopt my Uncle Jeff. And other people saying, I could just sit there and listen to your Uncle Jeff for hours. And so, I think that I am lucky enough to have my Uncle Jeff in my life, Jeffery Van De Veere in my life. And he just is full of so much wisdom, so much love, and has so much life experience to share, not only with myself, but with you guys as well. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jeffery Van De Veere. The legend. Hello, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, how are you, Alexander?
I'm so good, man. I'm so good. Yeah, life is beautiful. This has been a crazy, wild ride. I was just telling the audience here that, we're on day 22 of 30 live shows in 30 days. We haven't missed a beat. Yeah, it's been really nice. But, I think that we will have some people tuning in today that may not know who you are. So I would love for you to go ahead and introduce yourself to our people here.
Well, I am Jeffery Van De Veere, and I am the proud uncle of Alexander J. And I mean that with all sincerity. We have sort of a mutual love and appreciation for one another, and he has been truly an astounding young man as he grew up. I mean, we're considered. I'm just a couple of years older, and I don't know how many know this, but he played baseball and extremely well. He was a catcher, which is the toughest position on the ball team, and they called him flypaper. I don't know if you've mentioned.
No,
that,
never
Alex,
have.
but,
Yeah, I loved baseball, and Grandpa loved watching me play baseball. And I'm glad you brought that up as a little moment to reminisce on. And the thing was, I was a small kid. I was a small guy. And usually you have the bigger boys behind the plate, because they can take a hit. They're a little better planted, if you will. And my big thing was I was never scared to get in front of the ball, no matter what. So the ball would never get past me. If I had to take it into the helmet, I'd take it to the helmet. Take it to the chest, it didn't matter. So that's Thanks for reminiscing with me for a second. The human flypaper.
Yeah, human flypaper. Well, I don't know what popped that into mind. It was just, I guess, just because I was thinking about some of the cool things you did as a youth, and that was one of them. Among obviously a great list of extraordinary accomplishments that this gentleman has mastered
Mm.
on so many levels. And
Thank you for those kind words. I appreciate that.
he's a true friend. He's a true friend of mine,
Mm.
not just my nephew. And with that bridge, we will take a dive into my warm up, if you will, which is a metaphor for friendship itself. If you don't mind, are we ready?
Yeah, let's dive into it. So today, Jeffrey Van De Veere, he's going to be bringing us a
I
topic.
seem to have you.
Oh, I think I lost you. Oh man, I hope we didn't lose him for good.
Awesome.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
You're
Okay. I think you're back.
you're freezing up on me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you on Wi-Fi
Oh,
there by chance? Do you
okay.
know?
Okay. Yeah, you're kind of freezing up on me a little bit there, but maybe it looks like as you freeze, I'm live.
Yeah.
So we might
Bouncing, doing a little dance here. Yeah. So,
uh,
I mean,
technology.
yeah. So it was a beautiful segue. Friendship and Jeffrey Van De Veere is going to be coming in today and just discussing what's on your mind and on your heart and sharing some things with our audience, some experiences that you've had and learned over the years and you get such an amazing reception from our audience every time that you're on. And I really am happy and proud and excited to have you back on with us and sharing what you've got for us today.
Well, I appreciate that. So we'll dive right in. I actually wrote this some time ago and it popped back up. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to read it straight up, which is considerably unlike me, but I'll do it anyway. It seems friendships are like fine meals. There's the appetizer, the ones who get the juices flowing. They inspire us to get off our asses, to move from concept to the main course. The meat of the productive ventures and adventures ahead of us. There are those who satisfy the taste buds with the sweetness of seeing the beauty in simple things and the spice of excitement in challenging our fears, overcoming our reluctance to fully express who we are and that who we can become. Some friends quench our thirst, bringing us. I'm kind of reading in the dark here. Uh, Permitting us to dive deeply into our dreams head on. Others are reminders of the bitterness, the disappointment, the regrets that created firm foundations of strength and patience, grace and forgiveness.
Mm.
Then there are those who are staples, always there as consistent nourishment to sustain and strengthen us to conquer mundane and necessary life activities. And of course, the dessert. Those are the ones we play with at the end of the day of a productive, beautiful, wonderful day when we feel we've earned it. There's no rule about the order, by the way. And as you may have heard me say before, a real cowboy will eat his dessert first in case he gets shot during dinner. In any order, at the end, we are completely satisfied and delightfully nourished to tackle life's challenges. So, for those who are watching, I'd like to thank all of my friends for helping me sustain life. And it is our friends who help us sustain life and give us purpose. Without people, I mean, imagine for a moment scraping everybody off the face of the planet. You could have any car you wanted, any boat, any house, travel the world. Everything would be free. You could do it until it all ran out, of course, because we'd have nobody to reproduce all of that. It wouldn't be very sustainable. But imagine for a moment that you could do and have anything you wanted, except there's nobody to share it with.
Mm.
It wouldn't work at all, would it?
Yeah,
It'd be
I've been there.
horribly boring. It would be so sad and empty. So
Yeah.
it's our friendships and the people we love and the moments we have and the dreams that we make real because we gather those around us who support us and encourage us and motivate us. And we're motivated too for the purpose of bringing them along to enjoy those times with us. So,
Absolutely. I love that sentiment. Thank you for that. And it's, we live in such a day and age where now this is our communication to a degree. I mean, I feel like the whole world is having this transformation. When we grow up, I was fortunate enough to be surrounded by very level-headed, very productive, well-spoken conversationalists. And there was real connection in between the web of our family and friends. And I felt that connection. Every time friends would come to the house, my mom would always entertain. And growing up around that and being surrounded by that for so many years, I've seen and felt the shift of what's happening now, where connection is becoming something that is felt online with messaging. And I kind of want to know your take on keeping connection between two people and how to retain friendships that are more than just this screen to screen.
oh boy, Alex, you've just touched on something that I've had discussions about quite a few times in just the last few weeks.
Mm.
I think the pendulum is swinging. I think people are feeling the way you are about this. And I'd like to see a show of hands for those who are watching who feel that there is a renewed sense that we need to get back face to face, shake hands, give each other a hug, actually go out for a meal together and have real conversations together. Put your phones down, maybe even leave them in the car. I forget my phone now once in a while because it just is so, honestly, I became addicted to it and still am to some degree because it's so entertaining. There's so much, the plethora of information and everything, and it is very attractive. But what is more satisfying than that superficial attraction is that one-on-one, heartfelt handshake and hug, and that vibration that comes of being in person. Because we can speak, and we do have the Akashic and quantum, and so from a distance we have a little touch of that vibrational connection. But one-on-one, it's upfront and personal, and it's just so much more powerful. So my recommendation, if you will, or my observation is to find the time to sit with friends, to actually put down the phone, get in your car, go over and visit your buddies.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so, you're so right. You're so right. It is so powerful to have that connection with humans. And we need that too when we're in search of things like inspiration, and when we're looking as creative minds, we're looking for different outlets and people to bounce ideas off of. And it's one thing to, put, say, these podcasts out into the world and hope that people resonate, but to have a conversation with somebody where you're seeing and feeling them ignite and light up when you have these conversations, and your creativity can run wild and you get that immediate feedback, whether it be disdain, love, hatred, but you get that feeling immediately, and that connection that is so, I feel like it's it's a spark that seems to be less and less common anymore. And as you were telling that, it was a poem to a degree. I loved what you wrote down. As you were reading that, I was thinking of the most lonely I've ever felt in my life. I had worked my way up a corporate ladder of AT&T. I was, a salesman for the company, had just worked and worked and worked and worked until I finally got to a place where I had to move from one city to the next, and I was making double the money of what I had made before, and now I was managing 13 people, and I had this location, and it being a manager, you cannot fraternize within the company, right? It's against policy. So there's this weird, and it's a corporate policy, right? I still had friends there, don't get me wrong, but I always had this thing in my head is like, if I'm going to be with this company for the rest of my life and I'm going to do by them the way that they want me to, I have to follow these guidelines. And there I am sitting in my 3-bedroom house, a 3-car garage. I had all the dirt bikes, my 2 dream cars, and just over the top. I had everything I could have ever wanted. There was not a day that I thought about going to buy something new because it was all there. And I was so alone. I had nobody to share it with. And it took me coming on a trip. This is how I actually got down to Tucson, Arizona. I took a vacation. I reached out to one of my buddies that was living down here. Shout out to Aaron Christ. I love you, buddy. But he moved down to Tucson. I reached out to him, and he's like, come visit. I say, okay. It's the middle of March. It's cold. It's dreary. It's rainy up in Oregon. And I get down to Tucson, and I get off the plane, and all of a sudden I'm greeted by warm air and sunshine and the desert smell. And I'm like, this is a whole new territory. It just brightened me up. I just was so excited. And I spent a week here, and it was one of the most fun weeks of my life. I forgot what it felt like to wear shorts. I forgot what it felt like to put flip-flops on, and reconnecting with a friend. And I told him, I was like, give me 1 year and I'll be down there. And so I packed up that huge house, sold absolutely everything. I kept my 4Runner, my dirt bike, and my music studio. And I packed it all in the back of my 4Runner. And exactly a year later to the date, I drove down to Tucson, Arizona, and slept on his floor for 3 months while I made it work. And it took me, and all of that to say, there's a long-winded way to say that having everything in the world is nothing without being able to share it with the people that you love. And it took me reaching out to a friend to spark something incredible where I could restart a whole new life with whole new outlook and viewing things completely differently because of reaching out to someone. So thank you for sharing that, because that brought me into a special place.
Well, there again, we are so well connected. And I believe that it is that connection that makes us human and that gives us a desire to have that closeness. And I think you're right, Alex. I think that it's been lacking lately. There's been a void there when we get on this 2-dimensional screen where we can't hug and actually feel the vibration. And there's some body language too that you can't quite read, and that twinkle in your eye is a little dulled by the cameras, and having something to share. I mean, we can share these moments, and these are great moments, but wait till I get to Tucson.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's your old stomping grounds too.
Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time in Tucson.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
So
lot of time.
I can't wait. I mean, I'm always trying to get everybody down here. I want you down
Yeah.
here. I want my sis down here. I want my mom, pops. I don't know. I mean, I do love Oregon. It's got its charm, but man, 9 months of 75, 80 degrees, you just can't beat it. You can't.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to beat.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a really good segue. I had several subjects that I was considering this evening, and I think that your conversation about getting down there to Tucson within that year to the day might have been a tell for the segue that I'd like to make into the 5 stages of spiritual state.
Mm.
Would you like to
Yes.
talk about that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Well, the 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 first stage of being is victim. Okay. Now, if you're a victim, it's like, well, life's been tough on me, and that's the way I am, and I've had these family issues that caused me to this and that, and well, how did you expect me to turn out with that kind of background? Or
Let me pause you for one moment. And I'm sorry to interject, but I do want a quick breakdown of what you mean by 5 stages of spirituality. Is it to spirituality, or what are these 5 stages?
well, states. It's states
Oh,
of being.
states. Sorry. Okay.
States of being. So you are in one of these 5, sometimes 2 or 3 at a time, but and you'll see what I mean as we go. But the first state of this spiritual awareness, the spiritual growth, the spiritual uh, position
Gotcha.
is victim. Okay,
Gotcha.
so
Okay.
you're like it's sort of more like a wild animal. You're either prey or you're predator, and that's pretty much where you live in that state of victimhood. A lot of you'll hear if someone is in the state of victim, they'll say things like, "Well, you hurt my feelings. Why
Mm,
are people always hurting me? Why do they make me feel so this or that?" Well,
mm,
that's a state of victimhood. You are relying on the outside world to dictate your experience of life.
mm. Yeah. How common is that?
Extremely, extremely common.
Yeah.
And that's the first state. That's like birth. That's like birthing into this thing that we call life and journey and exploration and excitement and so forth. The second is realization. When you realize in that moment that you have been playing the victim, you can no longer do that because
Mm,
you can't now say, oh, so and so hurt my feelings, or life's been thrown, giving me lemons all my life. Well, I'll make lemonade.
yeah.
You realize all of a sudden that you are responsible for your life, not life being responsible for you.
Mm.
You're responsible for your own experience of life. You're
Can I?
responsible for your own joy.
Mm. Absolutely. Can I touch on that real quick? I heard something the other
Absolutely.
day that I thought was, pertains to this to the T. And it says that life will continue to give you, how can I put this? I'm trying to put this, I'm paraphrasing. There's lessons to be learned, right? And a lot of people will stay in that victim mentality until you learn the lesson that life is trying to teach. And that lesson will keep crossing your table, keep crossing your plate over and over and over and over until you learn the lesson that life is trying to teach you. And I feel as though that victim mentality of why does this always happen? Why is this, versus taking the accountability and then doing the work to understand and learn the lesson. So that's it
Yeah,
for me.
absolutely. And yeah, life will keep putting that same obstacle in front of you or challenge that we need to overcome until we do. And then it'll put another one.
Yes. Yeah. And then it's on to the next.
Yeah, to whom much is given, much is required.
Mm.
And that's kind of the way life goes. The challenges get bigger as our muscles get bigger, as our wisdom grows. We are faced with greater challenges so that we can keep stretching. So it doesn't really quit. But the idea is that we grow exponentially to the same degree that we are challenged. It's like working out. When you go to the gym, you start out light, right? You might be bench pressing, 100 and a quarter, and then you work up to 140, and then now, yeah, as your muscles grow, it's 200 and so forth. Running, same thing. Anything that you do, you have to start out small and slow, and that's the way life is. We start out as in victimhood,
Right.
and then the realization that we are responsible, and that hits us hard. I think
Mm.
that's the toughest place to transition from is victimhood into realization, because that's a killer, man. It breaks your heart to look back and say, "Oh, I did that. That was
Mm.
all me, man. It was
Mm.
all me, and all this time I could have been happy, and I was downtrodden, and I felt the world was against me, and people were against me, and why me, and all of that stuff." And then all of a sudden, to realize, oh, that's the toughest one.
Yeah.
So then, so realization is when you come to that moment where you say, okay, I got to take control of my life. I got to take the reins. I got to pull up my, big boy jeans and get on the horse and, make some headway.
Yeah.
And then what's interesting about that, when you do feel depressed or lonely or aggravated or angry, you go, okay, wait a minute. That's internal. I have control of it. This belongs to me. I've got to take responsibility for it and do something about it. You can do it externally, you can do it internally, however it is you want to work it out. Change the circumstances around you physically, or decide within you that you can look at this challenge as a challenge and begin to enjoy that
Mm.
challenge and understand that there's championship at the end of it. And then it becomes exciting
Yes.
instead of victim.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that. And I want to touch on that real quick because I just had the discussion with somebody else the other day. And we were talking about how, as you just said, we ask and manifest these things in our lives. We visualize, manifest, I feel like, is really overused in this day and age, but it's exactly what it is. You're visualizing the life that you want to live, and then you're realizing that no matter what, as these things come to you, so do more problems. But as you just said, and I love that you said it, those problems, they start to grow because you can handle more. But you have to realize that with each one that you're handling, you're putting more tools in your belt, so you're better equipped to handle all of these things that you're inviting in. And keeping the mindset that you invited this in the first place, and to change the mindset of the problems being blessings, getting
Mhm.
excited to overcome.
Mhm.
And when that happens, then you are allowed to be grateful, because that challenge is something that you invited in and it's yours now, and you accomplished to be able to get to that challenge. So that's really great. And yeah, we were just talking about that. So I love that you brought that up.
You are precisely right. And when we own it, no matter what the experience is, no, I mean, name an emotion. If you're having it, it belongs to you. Own it. And when you own it, you take responsibility for it instead of blaming someone else or using some excuse about it. It is freedom. It is liberating to own your own crap
Yeah.
or goodness.
Yeah,
Because
good or
when you
bad.
own this, when you own the joy, you go, yeah, I did that, and then you begin to put those tools in your belt to understand how to manifest that. And manifestation is number three.
Mm.
When you realize that you are responsible, you start thinking differently. And here we go back to Einstein with imagination being more important than knowledge. Because as we imagine, now I want everybody listening to look at the stuff that has gone on in your life. And I want you to look inside for a moment and ask yourself, did I think about that at length? Did I give detail to it? Did I consider it, dream about it, imagine it, and therefore create it? I'm guessing that if you look deeply enough and take responsibility, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you thought about it in great length, in great detail. And when you have done that, you will realize that whatever that was that you were thinking about becomes reality, because your imagination, your dreams cannot be differentiated from reality in your subconscious mind. And your subconscious programs your conscious mind, which manages your behavior. So you see how that is a
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's why imagination is more important than knowledge, because if you imagine it long enough and hard enough, you're going to create it. The universe is going to help you create it. God is going to answer those manifestations, those questions, those curiosities, those dreams. So when people say, "Oh, he's just a dreamer," well, you can't make a dream come true unless you have a dream.
Yeah.
And so manifestation, and not only that, but as you are going through these states of spiritual growth, not only are you doing it for yourself, but you can pass it on to others. You can say, "Hey, this is what's going on in my life. What do you think?" And challenge other people. Help them get curious about it. Plant some seeds in their minds and hearts. And admit to them. It's like a testimony. Man, I was just so down on myself and calling myself this and that. And why am I roller coasting? And why do these same things keep coming around? And then I realized I'm responsible. Have you ever had that feeling?
Oh,
You plant that
gosh.
seed.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody in the audience is thinking of, going through those exact moments multiple times. And, I want to thank you for sharing that, because it is so true, and taking, like you said, taking accountability for the way that you feel, and the understanding that you are in control of that. Yeah, there's so many instances where, when I was younger, of thinking that I was annoying in the world because I used to be a class clown and all these things, right? And I would cultivate that. I would cultivate that within my friends groups, inside of my own mind. And this is probably too much to even be sharing, but I remember that when I was younger, and I remember becoming annoying because of me thinking that consistently over and over, and it would just replay and replay and replay. And it just took the me being accountable and just understanding that I can. It's really amazing what you're capable of controlling in the world with the good, with a good mindset, with a good thought process, without those mental loops of negativity. Yeah.
Right. And I will add, don't beat yourself up too much about it, because we're all doing it. I did it. I remember I was always trying to be cool, right? I had to be cool. And I remember being on the beach with my daughter, and we're playing football and with her buddies and stuff. And I'm just doing what I'm doing. And she took me aside and said, "Dad, you think you're so cool and you're so not." Oh, that, like,
Right to the jugular.
man,
Yeah.
that really that really, it was a very productive criticism, because I began to really take a look at myself and say, yeah, I've probably been worried about being cool most of my life.
Yeah, there's some underlying truth there.
Guilty as
Yeah,
charged.
yeah.
So, um, now I don't care so much. As a matter of fact, the other night we had a little party here at the park. I'm in Menifee right now, and we're at a RV trailer park. RV. I'm sitting here on my fifth wheel, and there was a band playing, and there was a kid there who is autistic, and I guess he's in his teens, but he's probably about 7 or 8 mentally.
Yeah.
And he's up dancing and flailing around and just having a great time without any sense of awareness even about anyone being concerned about him or anything else. Just total disconcern. So, and he was the only one up dancing. So I said, Valerie, I'm going to get up and dance with him. She said, yeah, go ahead. So I got up, and I'm flailing around and goofing off just like he is, and just had a ball. We just had a great time. And just total carelessness, with total disregard for anyone else's opinion or anything, and just giving this kid a moment to just enjoy, and myself too. It was fun to just cut loose, and
I love that.
I really didn't care. But
do you want to flick on a light? We're getting dark out there. I think it's you got some sunset or something. I don't know if you have a light you can flick on real quick.
Got one right here.
But that's there
Is that
we
too
go.
much?
No, that's beautiful. Perfect.
Whoa.
But that's perfect. Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
I always say, anytime that I go out, my favorite people in the world are the people that have no tempo and cannot dance, but are in the middle of the dance floor breaking it down. That I've always just been drawn to that, of just not giving a shit about anything else but having fun.
Yeah.
So good.
And isn't that the way life should be?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I want that on my gravestone.
Yeah.
If you're around, put that on there, will you? He had fun. And the dash between the birthday and the expiration date, and right over that dash said, just say he had fun.
You got it, man.
So that's what manifesting is all about. It's our imagination coming true. And it does, because we put that vibration out there, and that vibration is the stuff that builds the blocks of our foundation and our creation, is our thoughts and our minds. And so the fourth position or state in spiritual growth is channeling. And channeling is like when you get a download, when that still small voice, that gut feel, that intuition speaks to you so clearly with such great revelation that you can pass it on and know that it didn't belong to you to begin with. That's channeling. We have spiritual channels who, channel spirits and whatever, that type of thing. But there's also the channel of simply drawing from the Akashic and recognizing the quantum and getting that download so that you can pass it on with humility and wisdom, so that not only do you benefit, but others around you benefit by it. So channeling the wisdom, channeling the love, like you and I right now, we're talking about, the friendship, which, you suggested it, and we moved it into that physical connection and drawing us together physically and in person, eyeball to eyeball. Yeah. Sitting around the round table, having a discussion, and that's really what it's all about. So in effect, you and I were both channeling that same concept and feeling, and that's why the segue was so fluid, because we were both channeling that very same thing.
I love that. And do you have any practices, best practices for channeling those things?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're taking notes, this is very, very simple. Find some quiet time. I mean, quiet time by yourself, zero noise around you, no other influences, and sit for an hour in total silence. Notice your breathing. Meditation basically is what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
But it's that silent, alone time when you free your mind, empty your mind, recognize your breathing, and allow the thoughts to just pass through your mind. Just say, "Okay, thank you. I got you. You're dismissed now," and make a concerted attempt to just empty your mind, particularly when you're dealing with something, you want an answer to something. Um, maybe you've got a little chaos going on in your life, where you've got some decisions to make. Just go into that quiet time, and you will find that you are receptive, delicately receptive to this channeling that the universe and God and your friends and the Akashic have to give to you. And it'll pop in. You'll go, "Oh, there it is." It'll be so clear and so delightful to you.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that is one way to
That's
certainly
amazing.
do it.
Yeah, for somebody like me, I've definitely dove into trying to meditate, trying to sit in silence, and I should almost stop myself from saying things like that, like I cannot, or
Right.
but I definitely have found it difficult and maybe what you just said now, I was just about to say, to silence my mind, but just be aware of my thoughts, let them pass. But are you sitting with intention when you're doing that? So you sit down with the intent to achieve or to figure out or problem solve or whatever it may be, prior to shutting down the lights and making sure that you're completely isolated, or if you could, yeah, break that down a little bit for me.
Yeah, very good point, Alex. Thank you for that intention. And here's how you verbalize the intention. You say to yourself, "Okay, subconscious mind, I want to know how to even better get clarity by this issue, whatever that issue is, X, fill in the
Yeah.
blank."
Yeah.
And then shut up. And I mean, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut
Yeah.
your mouth, shut your mind off, shut the music off, shut
Yeah.
everything down and shut up.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then don't, and there are a couple of words that I from our vocabulary. One word is try.
Yeah.
Like Yoda said, there is no try, just do.
Mm. Yeah.
Another one is need. I need, or you need, or and another one is should. You should, or I should, because what that manifests for us is a place of neediness. And so when you say, "I need to eat better, work out, become more confident, do whatever," you're going to stay in that place of neediness because you just said that you need to.
Mm.
That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You're putting a barrier between you and what it is you're trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I get.
Need
Yeah.
should be stricken from our vocabulary.
Yeah.
And should, because should, either one of those means that you're not doing it at all now, and probably won't in the future,
Yeah.
because you're going to maintain that should and that need, right? Better terminology is, how can I even better, because that puts you in motion. You're already in motion doing it. Obviously you are, or you wouldn't be thinking about it. but it reprograms the subconscious mind to behave differently, to program the mind differently so that we respond and behave differently. So how can I even better accomplish this goal, get better, empty my mind so that I can be even more receptive to that still small voice?
I have to give you some applause for that. Yes, sir. Oh, I hope you guys are enjoying Jeffery Van De Veere here, dropping gems for us as people helping people. You are the epitome of what this show stands for. And thank you for sharing that, because, you sharing that brings up so many thoughts in my mind of the things that I'm catching myself. I need, the things that I want to better myself in. To be a better conversationalist, to be better at becoming more vulnerable with my audience, and being okay with watching myself back, and not being so self-critical of these conversations. And thank you for that, because I'm going to implement. And there's been a recurring segment of the people who have been successful on this podcast and talking about affirmations and, the mindset of somebody who does not quit and envisions and visualizes the thing that is coming to them before it's already there. They put themselves in the shoes of the person that's already doing it. And I always love to hear that reiterated. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, and the word that we should more often include in our vocabulary is the word even. So how can I be even more? Like, you see what I mean? How can I be even more fluent with my conversations during the podcast? How can I be even better at connecting with people? Do you feel the difference there?
Yeah, you're giving yourself permission to be good at something already. And, that's great, because then you have a foundation. You're working off a foundation versus something that, like we said, has that wall up that you're trying to break through, or that will always be outside of arm's reach. So that's amazing.
And the reality is, all of us are already doing it, or we wouldn't be thinking about it.
Yes. Yeah.
So give yourself some applause, give yourself some appreciation and some awareness that you're already walking down that path. So how can I step in even further? How can I walk a little faster? How can I dive a little deeper, even deeper? See, even more so. And those are real affirmations.
I love that.
So we'll check back on that, but we'll get to number 5 of the spiritual growth. And nobody that I know of has ever reached the 5th, and maybe we will when we pass on and go into the next realm. But it's called Arahat, and some of you might be familiar with Arahat. It literally means that we have become disintegrated from our own being. We are no longer self, and every bit of us is integrated with all that there is.
Oof. Wow.
Arahat.
Sounds like a DMT trip to me.
And then some,
They're
maybe.
licking some toads or something,
Yeah. So I actually did hear of one guru who felt that he had gotten there for at least a moment, when he felt like he was indeed selfless. He had disintegrated. He couldn't identify himself any longer, but instead identified with everything that there was: all the animals, trees, plants, fishes, ocean itself, the earth, the rocks, the dirt, the people, the souls, everything. That's like, when we say, namaste, my soul recognizes your soul and within you. And for those who are Christian, of course, I'm very much Christian, and but I have a broad sense of spirituality, and I understand that there is the Creator in everything, whether it's uh, rocks and trees and vibration and whatever it is, the universe. Um, I've said, hopefully I'm not touching on too delicate a ground here, but
No.
it's like religion is the enemy of God. But let me say this: spiritualism, the the idea of the concept of a creator and studying that is just that. It's the study of the creator. Science is the study of the creation, and you can't have one without the other. They're integrated. They cohabitate. Um, Science says where there is order, there is a creator. Where there's chaos, there isn't. Uh, it's disintegration. Uh, so we look around at all that there is, and eventually maybe we will become arahat and connected with all that there is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I'm, I'm just tickling the fringes of some of the other things, but we all channel, by the way, to some degree. Remember, I said before that sometimes we're a mix of some of these things. Well, if you've gotten past the victim state and you've realized that you're responsible, and you begin to understand that you are manifesting, and you deliberately create manifestations and recognize that you have done so, part of that result is by the fact that you have channeled experience, wisdom, knowledge, and behavior from that which has gone before and that which is now. So we are these things sort of dovetail together to some degree, but to understand where you are in that along that journey and become even more aware of it and even more adept and skilled at it becomes just a delightful journey. It's just wonderful.
That is really incredible. The 5 states. I never thought of that there is a process. And for you to break that down for me is so insightful. And for the people listening too, I'm hoping that you took as much from this conversation as I did. But prior to, because I kind of want to break some more things down. This is, if you've got a minute. Okay, great. But when you were talking about the full integration in everything around us, the full ecosystem of our universe, and being one with our universe, and that goes for everything: the plants, the frogs, the ground, the ocean, the air, the sun. I was having a conversation with my buddy Aaron Nash. He goes by Cody Nash. He's an artist, and he recently lost his father. He was a caregiver and thought when his father got sick that he would be the one. That nobody could do it better than him. He'd been caregiving for 15 years, and he's like, "This, it's training me for this moment. Nobody can take care of my own father better than myself." And so he was taking care of his father, and obviously was very, very taxing. It was so hard. It wasn't like it punching in, to his normal 9 to 5, because it was family. So one thing that his father said prior to him passing was he kept saying that we are all stardust. And as you're telling me that, and he was starting to fade from our reality into this next evolution of life, he kept stating that we are stardust. We are stardust. We are a part of the stars. We are, gosh, and it really struck me. And then you said that right now, the full integration. And, shout out to Cody Nash with awesome person, such a good interview and, sharing these hard moments. And he wrote a whole album for his father. And on the front of the album, there's galaxies and stardust and everything. It's in lieu of his father. But I mean, that was just really interesting that somebody that is about to reach that next evolution of life, which I like to look at as graduation, because we all are in this school together. And the most beautiful thing that we're all working towards is the graduation. And hopefully we get to teach and inspire and give people a clean path or a good path to walk down, or at least share with them what not to hit their heads on, what not to stub their toes on, and just give them a little bit of love and wisdom that we've learned along the way. And, as you're telling me these 5 states, I think a lot about the beginning of, people feeling consistently under attack. And I don't know if you have any words of advice for people that may feel as though life is happening to them consistently, because that, like you said, can be the hardest transition. That transition of changing your mindset to have some accountability and realizing that you're in control of these emotions that are erupting more often than not, and they feel uncontrollable. But what are some steps that somebody that can take that is feeling that feeling?
Probably the goal at the end of all of that, at least for me, is contentment. When I'm looking at the world around me and the stuff that's happening to me and things that affect me, because they do, we get affected by it. We have to own that experience, because different things affect people differently. Okay. Yet within, sometimes, let's call it challenge, misery, heartache, sorrow, even within that, we can look for contentment. Like giving yourself permission to just have a good cry. Once in a while, we just gotta weep. And occasionally, when I'm feeling that, I'll put something on to motivate that.
Interesting.
I will actually promote that feeling, because I know I need to release. I know I need to release it. So within the sorrow, within the absence, within the frustration, whatever it is, I will actually encourage it to explode that feeling, so that I'm not avoiding it. I'm actually owning it and getting through it, because we don't get over, around, or under. We have to get through it. So to plunge into it and allow it to be there and give ourselves permission to be there. And like Valerie will be in her car and she'll just scream. She'll be going down the road and she'll just holler. or she'll allow herself the freedom to just weep openly and bitterly. And I've begun that a little even more of that practice myself, where I allow myself the privilege to experience that emotion to its maximum. Just bring it on. It's kind of like beating a fever. When I was a kid and I would get a fever, I would get my sleeping bag out, turn the heater on, do everything I could to exasperate that heat. I wanted to get hot. I wanted to get really hot. I wanted like a temperature of 105 for as long as I could stand it, because it's that fever that's killing that bacteria and that virus. So indulging yourself in that emotion will help you get through it a lot faster. It's kind of like the difference between buffalo and cattle. You're going, what? Where are you going with this, Jeff?
Go on.
When all right, here we go. When cattle recognize that a storm is coming, they'll try to escape it. They'll run away from it. And so as the storm is coming and they're running away from it, it catches them and they stay in that storm for a long, long time. And it's going to get muddy and they're going to be exhausted. And some of them are going to actually die. Buffalo, on the other hand, see a storm coming. They turn towards it and run through it. And they're popping out the other side in a tenth the time because they just attack it.
I like that. I like that analogy. That's great. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Because yeah, I think as a man in life, we're told to, stiffen our upper lip and hold these things in and not let it out. So, exacerbating those emotions and feelings, I think can be super beneficial for a lot of people. And, I can't remember the last time I wept. I'll shed a tear for a happy day. Music will come on and I'll just shed a tear and be singing along, but it's not negative. It's not like but yeah, there's definitely a lot in my life that could use a good cry for sure. So I appreciate that,
Hey, hey,
Yeah, right. Well,
and yeah, happy tears are the best. I cry very easily with happy tears. I mean, I'm kind of a sap. I'll look at a movie or a love story or whatever, happy ending, and I'm all. But but sometimes we have to just embrace the emotion, embrace, give it, because that's what makes us human. Another thing Valerie says, you got to have 5 emotions a day. So, and when you do have those 5 emotions a day, you recognize your humanity.
Ooh.
And that's a beautiful thing, to recognize that we are human. And you mentioned something earlier just a moment ago about men are not supposed to have emotions. They're not supposed to show all that feeling and all that stuff. And maybe with your girlfriend or wife or whatever, it may or may not be productive. You got to kind of feel that out. But in private, give yourself permission.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission, because that other conversation is a subject for another day about what women expect of us, and we are to perform as men. But in the privacy of your own room or wherever you are, your own space, just give yourself that privilege.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. I just want to give you one of these. And thank you for your vulnerability, and thank you for sharing such wisdom. And I hope that, again, everybody that was listening to this, either you were taking notes or you can implement one thing into your life that you can start practicing today. And I know that every conversation that we have, you give me something that I'm going to be using for the rest of my life. So, and the people have been saying the same. I have people reaching out, just waiting to see you on the show. So you're doing beautiful things, and we do appreciate you being on the show.
Well, that's very humbling, and I do appreciate it. And I hope that I do have, a little something we can pass on, people helping people.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Well, we sure love you. And is there anything you'd like to leave with the people before you go?
In those moments, be content. In all things, be content. Know that it is what it is, and find some joy, find some nuggets, find some lesson or some privilege within whatever state you're in the moment.
I love that. Thank you again, Uncle Jeff. We love you over here, and I can't wait to have you back on. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your vacation in the beautiful RV. And you said you're where? You're where right now?
Menifee, California, and we speaking of being content in situations, we've got some logistical issues we're working with, but hey, it's just stuff. We'll figure it out.
Nice. Well, if you ever need anything, give me a call, and I love
I
you.
will. I love you, buddy.
All right. Thanks again. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffery Van De Veere. Jeez Louise. I just feel as though him and I could sit on the phone or in person, round a campfire, wherever it may be, and just talk for hours and hours and hours on end. And, he was touching on so many different topics that I think are just so extremely relatable as we humans go through this thing called life. And there's so much internal dialogue that I feel as though everybody deals with that internal. I don't want to necessarily say the negativity, because it's not always that, but there's conflict at times, and it's not always external or internal conflict. But the fact of the matter is that giving yourself or giving yourself the tools in order to deal with these things is very, very important. And so I hope that, again, you guys took something from that conversation as I did. I think that, for me, I'm going to try and here we go. I'm going to sit in a room and shut off the lights and be even better at certain things. So yeah, that's what I'm going to start. I'm going to practice is being even better. I'm going to be an even better conversationalist for you guys listening. I'm going to convey my message even better. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up for the things that I'm going to be practicing more often, and being cognizant of those negative loops in your mind and taking accountability. And gosh, that's amazing. But before we go, you guys, I again want to thank everybody for being a part of People Helping People. And I want to show you guys some things. Check this thing out. We got some viewers out there. I see you guys. Penny and Benny LLC. I'm just going to pick up my microphone here. Check this out. People Helping People. We got Zeus on the front. And it says to embrace the journey of creativity. This is an epic shirt. I don't know if you guys would be interested in this shirt. He made this as a one-off for me, and I love it. Penny and Benny for all your merchandise needs. pennyandbenny.com. And then I want to shout out the merchandise winners, the people who have been supporting. They've been in the chats. For the people that are asking us great questions, I just decided for a few shows, let's just call them out and give them some merch. I want to give back to you guys for being a part of this movement. And he finally got these printed off, and they are epic. Let me show you here. Let's see. So shout out to Rich, who won one of these shirts. And shout out to Haley Richardson. If you guys are watching right now, shout out to you guys. This has been so fun. Rich, I see you in the comments. Sorry, I didn't have the comments up there. I wanted to be looking as close to the camera as I could, so I had to make this screen as large as I could. So let's see. Rich, we see you out there, and congrats again. I have your shirt right over here. Yours is going to be a black one, but it'll be the same press as this, and I'll show you that here in a moment. Rich says, AJ, I just love listening to you and your guests. They are awesome. Dude, thank you. Thank you. Now, let me show you your shirt here, Rich. Check this thing out. Now, this is the back of the shirt, and it's a patch style, I should say. People Helping People on the back with a glowing handshake in the middle. This one right here is Haley Richardson's, but yours is going to be the exact same, but black in color. They turned out so stinking good. And again, huge shout out to Penny and Benny LLC, because these prints are so, I mean, it's so vibrant, and I don't know, I'm just excited. I'm just excited. And he also has a new line I wanted to show you too. He's got a new line of tees as well. So I want to show you guys this. This one's really fun. It says, "Do what you love," with an orange sliced tiger in the middle. Well, he's more red, but he's got some orange slices through the middle of it. It's so good. So if you guys want to buy some merch, you can go to pennyandbenny.com. Or if you want to put in some orders and make your own stuff, he'll help you customize it. And huge shout out. I'm so excited to be doing what I'm doing right now. I'm very passionate about bringing love to you guys, the community, putting people on a pedestal, getting to know them, because everybody deserves to be heard. Everybody deserves to be seen. And that's all I want to do. I want to be able to give people the opportunity to be heard, to be seen. And that's what we're here doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, day 22 of 30, people helping people. And thank you again to Jeffery Van De Veere. We love you. And I hope you all have a beautiful evening. And we will see you guys on the next one. Deuces.
Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.